Suzume is the latest film from director Makoto Shinkai, the director of one of the most popular animated films of all time, Your Name. So let's see if his newest film is worth your time. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. As the skies turn red and the planet trembles, Japan stands on the brink of disaster. However, a determined teenager named Suzume sets out on a mission to save her country. Able to see supernatural forces that others cannot, it's up to her to close the mysterious doors that are spreading chaos across the land. Makoto Shinkai has directed some of the best anime films I have seen, from Your Name to Weathering With You, 5 centimeters per second. His movies are outstanding. So I had a lot of expectations going into Suzume. Also, I was a little bit worried, wondering if it would be able to live up to films like Your Name. And although it's not as outstanding or as powerful as Your Name, it still is a really good film. And I know a lot of people will go into this film comparing Your Name, as it was hugely popular. And so it's easy to try to compare both films and have certain expectations going into this film. But Suzume is one of the best films I have seen this year. Suzume is a young woman. She lives with her aunt in a small town in Japan. She often dreams of these magical places as a kid, and she's calling out for her mother. She meets a mysterious senior named Soto, and he's looking for abandoned doors, and Suzume leads him in the right direction. And that leads him to a venture trying to stop this supernatural force from causing earthquakes in Japan. Early on, it's really easy to tell what this film is going to center on. This earthquake that happened in 2011 in Japan, that actually happened. And so we're having this film that's able to blend that tragic event with a sense of fantasy elements to it as well, trying to bring those magical moments out of a tragic event. And Makoto Shinkai is able to bring out the beauty of Japan within this film and all of those fantasy elements to it amongst a really horrific event that happened to Japan. And throughout the film, Soto and Suzume are trying to stop this giant red worm from causing these earthquakes. So there's that real sense of urgency within this film as we go on this adventure, this 2-hour runtime of these two characters that were total strangers in the beginning, and learning to trust each other and stop this giant red worm from causing the earthquakes within it. And throughout the film, we get some small earthquakes throughout, and it's building that tension and that more urgent moments within the film. So the way that Makoto Shinkai was able to bring in this event and put it within a film set around these fantasy elements and these supernatural forces that only these two characters can see, and trying to stop it, going throughout the journey of Japan and looking at Japan and all of its beauty. It's interesting to see how he was able to balance both of these. At times, it feels really haunting when we get a lot of other characters and people in the film that get notifications on their phone. And seeing how these two characters are reacting to it, it's building that tension. But also at times, it feels very beautiful with its animation and the exploration of these two characters. Because this is also a love story. Amongst all of the earthquakes and the fantasy elements and this giant red worm that is terrorizing Japan, there's a love story behind it, and it's developed so well within here. There's a lot going on when you look at this movie. That fantasy elements to it, that giant red worm, Suzume's dreams of these runes and calling out for her mother, but there is a beautiful love story that develops so nicely throughout the film. Because as Suzume and Soto are going on this adventure trying to stop everything from happening, they're starting to open up about their past, some deep moments for them, but also they're put into these high stake moments of trying to survive and protect everything. But I loved some of the smaller moments amongst some of in between the earthquakes and those urgent scenes as our characters are opening up, and we're seeing how deep these characters are and the depth given to them and that connection that is building. It's honest and real, and Soto and Suzume are both really likable characters, and you see where their love story is going to go, but I wasn't expecting the I wasn't expecting the depth given to them, and honestly caring so much for that relationship. You felt that genuine personal connection that they had for each other, and that was one of the highlights for this film. Amongst all of the fantasy scenes and all the high stakes going on, Makoto Shinkai did not forget the love aspect of it, and it's absolutely beautiful. There's a side story involving this cat, which is quite adorable initially, but as we get more of it, it becomes more heartbreaking, and it adds a lot to those emotional moments as this character is starting to challenge both Soto and Suzume and having them realize their true potential and their deepest fears as well, and that's explored nicely throughout, and that's put amongst all of those urgent high stakes sequences, and the cat is starting to challenge everybody throughout, and it was put nicely into the film and a way for these characters to look at their own lives, reflect on certain things, and how they can push themselves forward. So it's really heartbreaking as these characters are starting to confront things that had happened to them in their past, and the way they were able to put that into the film was very impressive. Now the animation in here, it's absolutely stunning. If you've seen Your Name and Weathering with You, 5 centimeters per second, it's very similar to that, as there is a lot of realistic moments. If it's people eating food or car navigation systems, everything looks so real. And then you have those magical moments that feel grand. There is a lot of moments, especially towards the end, that feel very big. It's epic looking, and the way that they handled some of those action scenes, it's stunning. But the animation in here is absolutely beautiful. It's easy to get lost within this film and get sidetracked with the story as you're so fixated on some of these scenes and the food that they're eating or how they're preparing it, driving, and you're looking at the town and high school as well. There's a lot of sequences that you just get lost in it, and you're amazed with the animation in here. It's easy to forget that people are talking and there's actual stories going on because you're so enthralled by everything that is happening. And I found myself many times checking out, not that the story was dull or anything, is that the animation was just so beautiful that I was fixated on one thing and I could not stop thinking about how beautiful it was. That's this film. And the animation for Your Name, Weathering with You, they look similar, and that's just the style for the director, but it's just so impressive what people were able to do with these types of films. But I love the story in here, and I love this movie, how we have a magical explanation for a very tragic event, and also having a love story that's truly developed in here. It's fully fleshed out. The characters are nicely paced out. There's development for them. You care for them. That love story, at times very typical, but I love how it was explored. The animation is absolutely stunning. This is a really good film. If you loved Your Name and Weathering with You, you will appreciate this film. Although it's not as good as Your Name, it's still a stunning piece of work. It is a really exceptional film. This is a movie that you need to see and give your attention to. The animation at times will distract you with how good it is, but the story is very tragic. It's emotional, taking a real event and having a magical explanation to it. Some fantasy elements, you feel that urgency all around. Suzume is an outstanding film. So before I give you my score for Suzume, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer actions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. And if you'd like to see where Suzume ranks amongst all of the other 2023 releases I've seen this year, follow me on Letterboxd, and there you can find my ranking. I'm going to go ahead and give Suzume an A. Thank you guys for checking out my review of Suzume. Have you guys seen it by chance? What'd you think about it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watching Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.